Hi, I'm Sarah Cowgill, along with Scott Cosenza, Dave Patterson, Graham Noble, and John Clark. And this is The Conservative Five, an online TV production of Liberty Nation News. There is nothing like a good scandal to weaponize against your opponent. The progressives in the drive-by media have latched onto Signalgate as the bone to gnaw upon. Was it stupid? Yes, no question. But we also know it isn't unusual to use the app. Let's watch Press Secretary Leavitt set the record straight on the app itself.
And as for the usage of Signal, as the president said yesterday, as the CIA director has testified under oath, this is an approved app. It's an encrypted app. The Department of Defense, the Department of State, the CIA has it loaded onto government phones because it is the most secure and efficient way to communicate. As for, again, the original situation in this messaging thread, the National Security Council, the White House counsel's office continues to look in to how this mistake, which the National Security Advisor has owned, occurred.
Okay, so Mike kind of waltzes away. I know, pun intended. That truth nugget aside, it seems the progressive left has forgotten a few scandals in the past that were swept under the rug. Scott, what do you think is going on here?
Well, first, let me take the opportunity to disagree with you that it was a stupid decision for them to use Signal. That the Trump administration comes in and they're reinventing, and not to turn an Obama phrase, but they're doing much different in government. But it's not like we find out that there's a problem with a certain type of fuel for the jets, and it's like, why are you using this fuel for the fighter jets or something else? Every single little thing that the federal government does can't be reinvestigated to see if it's a good idea the first month of the campaign or the administration. The CIA says this is approved for use. For some things, you have to say, even though it was the Biden CIA, that we're going with this communication package. So I don't fault them even one iota for using it. And I read an article today that kind of I thought was very interesting, and it really made me think of why I was one of the people who founded LibertyNation.com. I want you all to kind of pay attention to see if you're picking out what I am from this piece. I'm going to just read a couple sentences from it. It's from Politico, and the writers are Maggie Miller and Amy McKinnon, and it published on the 2nd of April, called Inside the Hazy, Fractured Mess of Single Use in the Government. Alexa Henning, spokesperson for the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, tweeted last week that, quote, widespread use of Signal began under the Biden administration, adding that at ODNI, when I got my phone, it was pre-installed. But not all officials had that experience. Quote, I don't recall using it on my government phone, said Chris Inglis, who served as National Cyber Director at the White House under the Biden administration from 2021 to 2023. Now, if you didn't catch the sort of whipsaw there, Ms. Henning says it came pre-installed on their device. And then Politico challenges that notion and talks about Mr. and Ms. Inglis, who says they didn't use it much. But Inglis never said it didn't come pre-installed on their device. They just said they didn't use it. Well, Ms. Henning never said whether she used it or not. She just said it came pre-installed on her device.
It was stupid to add a journalist. It was stupid to put the journalist on the thing. That's the whole problem, not the fact that they're using the device. I mean, I don't know what Donald Trump should do. I'm going to ask you, John Clark. Should he brush the whole thing off, or should he offer up a sacrifice?
Well, I think he already has brushed the whole thing off and refused to offer up a sacrifice. And I understand exactly what Scott's saying. Though, interestingly, I watched a video recently in which Mike Benz from the Foundation for Freedom Online said that Signal was created by the CIA so that they could monitor people around the world, and perhaps even planted somehow Jeffrey Goldberg, is that his name? Why was he there? That is the big question. And when you look at this compared to other past transgressions, I found it a little bit amusing in the sense that we've heard for years about Hillary Clinton's use of emails, which I think was about 30,000 emails, and some of which were apparently, not authorized to be used in that way. And so when they were told this is the hypocrisy of conservatives because they are brushing this off, I think the hypocrisy is that they wouldn't credit anything against Hillary, and now they want to jump all over the conservatives about it. What's notable is what Carolyn Leavitt mentioned, which is that the president came right out, took responsibility. We're told there was nothing really sensitive in there, though that's an ongoing debate. But I just don't. I think it's a nothing burger. I think they're desperate to find any way to discredit this president. And anything he does, they will jump on him, and anything his people do, they will jump on. So I think it's a nothing burger, to use the technical legal term.
All right, I thought that was funny. Guess nobody else did. Anyway,
I'll jump in one more time just to say this. People sometimes forget the Mossad and a lot of other intelligence agencies had Clinton sex tapes with Monica in terms of, like, indiscreet use of communication devices, that hypocrisy in the media against one group and not another. So it's not like this is a massive indiscretion we haven't seen before.
no, it's out there, and every administration manages to do something kind of stupid like this. But I think we can only speculate, but or maybe not. But was this an intentional inside job, Graham? Do you think?
Well, as you say, it's really just speculation because we don't know for sure. We don't have any particular inside knowledge of this whole incident, this chat group, and we don't have any evidence. But adding somebody to a chat group on any of these chat apps that's an intentional thing. You've got to do it. You've got to go through a couple of little steps to add someone into a chat group. And so I don't see how it could have been done inadvertently. If it was, someone still needs to be held accountable. I mean, the person, because, you've got this group of senior administration officials about to have a conversation about impending airstrikes. And of course, we can go into the whole thing about whether that the information that was exchanged on Signal was classified or not. I think that's kind of a gray area, personally. So you got this group that's going to have this discussion, and of all the people that you could have added to this discussion, you choose one of the most anti-Trump so-called journalists in the country, a man who has been known on at least one previous occasion to fabricate the story to make Trump look bad. And this is the guy that you add into this chat group. Now, like I said, yes, it's true. I don't know for sure. Maybe it was some kind of accident, but if it was an accident, it was a terrible, terrible screw up, and someone should be made accountable for it.
In my opinion, I think it was intentional, but anyway. But okay, so let's go to the next level. Is this a serious breach of national security that Graham just mentioned? I mean, was the information really that heavy, Dave?
Well, Sarah, I'm going to kind of take issue with, I guess, everybody in that.
Thank you, Dave.
I think it was a breach.
Good to know.
It was a breach of security. I mean, there's no two ways about it. Whether it was a serious breach because it did not actually rise to the standards of top secret or secret in terms of the definition. For example, secret, the lower level of the two being an unauthorized disclosure that could reasonably be expected to cause serious damage to national security. Was it an unauthorized disclosure? Yes, it was. But did it cause a serious damage to the national security because of the timing? No, it did not. Was it a serious lapse of maintaining tight security awareness? Absolutely. However, it raises a critical question, I think, about valuing convenience over absolute security discipline. People with security clearances must take a refresher course every year on insider threats and inadvertent releases of classified information. It's comprehensive, and it covers situations very similar to what the National Security Council experienced. It may be old.
Basically, you're not supposed to take them home and put them in your garage next to the Corvette.
Right, but it may seem old school. But it wasn't so long ago that when you needed a group classified conversation, you went into a secure video conference room and used secure communication devices. I know Signal is very convenient and easy to use app. It's encrypted at both ends, but no one knows exactly whether or not when you put in JG in calling up people you want on the conference, you may get Jeffrey Goldberg or you might get Jonah Goldberg. And if you're not paying attention, you just simply are introducing human error, and it negates any convenience that Signal offers.
I'm just having a hard time with it. You know, I don't know. I don't know. Scott, you want to weigh in on that a little bit? We've got about a
I
minute.
think that I take Dave's point, and I agree. It is a sop to convenience, and it's a reckoning between the military, the skiff, the security of the skiff is not new, and it is the gold standard. And then it's like we have all these other things where in our daily life, where every communication avenue is increasing in reach and frequency, and there hasn't been the analog for military communication. So maybe the answer is to invest in something that really is secure for devices, so that our people can work in the way we kind of in the new work world. But yeah, you're right. The awareness, and I appreciate your analysis very much regarding the classifications, and that's one of the values that you really you bring to Liberty Nation, Dave. So thank you so much for that, laying it out for us.
Elon Musk can make it. He can develop it probably in a couple of weeks.
you go.
No CIA.
If he can make it, someone can hack it. I'm just going to say that. But all right, guys.
The same with the skiff.
Well, maybe Donald Trump learned a very important lesson. Use the skiff already. I mean, that's what it's for. That's why they were built. Anyway, thanks, panel, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. That's it for our Conservative 5 panel today. Check out our other C5 shows and segments on your favorite video platform. YouTube, Vimeo, Rumble, we're on them all. As well, Liberty Nation News has its own Roku channel where you can see all of our TV productions. Now, Liberty Nation does not endorse candidates, campaigns, or legislation, and this presentation is no endorsement. I'm your host, Sarah Cowgill. Thanks for joining us today for the latest news and commentary. Your choice for free thinking, free speech, libertynation.com.